This is the Rolex, not the watch, but the food. It costs only 50 cents and CNN ranked it the best street food in Africa. And this is Kampala, Uganda. Everything you think you knew about this place is wrong. For the first time in 7 days, I've been living here in Kampala, and I'm here to show you an African city the world refuses to acknowledge it exists. My name is Oscar Ntege and I'm Ugandan. I live here, and by the end of this video, you won't pity Uganda. You will love it. Let's go. This is Hassan. He is a Boda rider. A Boda is what we call a motorcycle taxi in Uganda here. Right now, he's taking me through one of the most chaotic traffic systems on earth, with 1 million motorcycles, all squeezing, somehow never crashing. They ride between cars, they squeeze through impassable gaps, and the secret to surviving Kampala traffic is a Boda. You see, while cars sit stuck for hours, Hassan and I zip through. We get where we need to go in a fraction of the time actually we would need in a car. A car takes 1 hour to cross town in this traffic. On Hassan's motorcycle, it takes only 15 minutes. That's why in Kampala, almost everyone uses Bodas. This is how Kampala actually moves. And everywhere you look, everyone is hustling. This is Old Taxi Park. Allow me to welcome you to the heart of Kampala. This is Kampala's main transportation hub, where thousands of minibus taxis depart every single minute to every corner of the country. It looks like complete chaos, and honestly, it kind of is. Thousands of minibuses shouting destinations, conductors hanging out calling passengers. The people selling everything: water, snacks, phone chargers, belts, shoes, everything. If you need it, someone is selling it right in that park. The guy you see selling deep fried chicken on the street, he does not work for McDonald's. He does not work for KFC. Those are Uganda mobile restaurants. The man with sugarcane stacked on the roadside, he woke up at 4 a.m. He traveled all the way from his ghetto single room with his harvest on a wagon. He's making a living right here on this street corner. Here in Kampala, we don't wait for jobs. We create our own survival. The other thing I didn't tell you about the mini bus taxi is it waits until it is completely full before actually leaving. Sometimes you can wait for 10 minutes if the destination has very many people headed there. Sometimes you wait for 1 hour. By the way, there is no scheduled departure time. This is how most Kampala residents travel every single day. See these people with bags full of coins? They are selling change. If, for example, you have a 50,000 shillings note, that's actually about $13, and you need some small bills for taxis, street food, you come to them and they charge you like maybe 500 shillings extra. They are providing a service. Because here's the thing about Kampala, everything runs on cash. If you want a Boda ride, cash. Street food, you pay cash. If you have cash in your pocket, your life in Kampala is going to be very, very easy. You can move, you can eat, you can solve problems instantly. There is nothing like credit checks. There is no wait for bank transfers. You need cash. But Uganda also has this mobile money, a system where you can store cash on your phone and send it to anyone instantly using their mobile phone. With mobile money, you don't need a bank account, you don't need internet, you just need actually a basic phone and a Ugandan SIM card. Uganda adopted this in the mid-2000s. It somehow skipped the credit card system completely and went straight to digital payments on basic phones. These are mobile money agents. They are everywhere. You give them cash, they load it onto your phone, or they give you cash when you transfer money from your phone. You can actually send money to your family in the village. You can pay rent, you can buy airtime, you can pay utility bills, all from your phone. And now almost everyone uses it. But physical cash is still king. Cash in hand means power. How about the people behind the hustle? Let me take you back to Hassan. Hassan works 14 hours a day, 7 days a week.
I started riding Boda 2018. up to now.
He used to rent his Boda for 15,000 shillings a day. That's about $4. Everything he made after was for his keep. On a good day, he makes about 50,000 shillings. That's about $13. On a bad day, about 30,000 shillings. That is about $8. After 3 years, he saved and bought his own motorcycle.
Boda enyambi okuva mu bukozi ate kati nenfuuka nga nze nsobola ovuga boda eyange.
As we're having this conversation, the one thing that I learned from him was you don't wait for permission in Kampala. You just start and figure it out as you go. That's the spirit here. When you realize nobody is coming to save you, you save yourself. And the beautiful thing about Uganda and about Africa is that even if you don't have a single shilling in your pocket, you can survive as long as you are around people. If you're hungry and you ask, someone will share their food with you. Not because they are rich, not because they have extra, but because that's what you do. If your car breaks down, you're going to see strangers stop, help you push it. That's Ubuntu, an African philosophy that says, I am because we are. Your humanity is tied to treating others with humanity. That's the safety net here. Not government welfare, not even insurance. But before I show you more, you need to understand something about this city, something that explains everything you're about to see. In 1915, a British academic named W.J. Simpson recommended that Kampala be divided in 2 segregated residential zones for Europeans, Asiatics, and Africans, with a neutral belt, or call it a land mass, of about 300 yards separating all these people. This hilltop, Colonial and Nakasero, were for white people, the European colonial administrators and settlers. They got paved roads, electricity, running water, sewage systems. All the infrastructure was built here first. The surrounding areas like Kamocha, Naguru were designated for Asians, mainly Indians and Pakistanis, who the British brought to build the railway and run shops here in Kampala. They were in the middle layer, working for the British but still separate from them. And these areas, Bwaise, Kawempe, Katwe, these were labeled the septic fringe. Literally planned as buffer zones to keep diseases away from the white neighborhoods. Native Ugandans were pushed to these areas with minimal infrastructure. They never paved roads, no water, electricity was a dream.
In the new Africa, one more independent country, the state of Uganda.
Right behind me is the Independence Monument. When Uganda got its independence, this particular sculpture was put up in memory of Uganda getting its freedom. Now, here's what is crazy. Uganda gained independence in 1962. That's about 62 years ago. But the same exactly hilltops that got the infrastructure are still the richest in Uganda today. But now, they are not segregated by race. They are segregated by wealth. Ambassadors, residences with high walls and armed guards. Uganda's wealthiest families, business tycoons, politicians, regardless of skin color, homes that cost over $500,000, $2 million. The geography inequality was designed and it stuck. But the British didn't plan for this. Ugandans building their own cities beyond the colonial blueprint. These are suburbs of Chanja, Chigo, Bugolobi. These didn't exist 20 years ago. The Uganda middle class, however, didn't accept being pushed to the margins. They didn't sit around waiting for Colonial Center to open up to them and become affordable. These were farmlands, open fields, and now they are thriving middle-class neighborhoods. It's full of modern homes, shopping centers, international schools, hospitals, businesses, restaurants. Uganda is building entire cities. This isn't the Uganda you see in charity adverts with starving children and flies. This is actually Chisasi, a suburb about 6 kilometers from Kampala city center. Modern homes are here with gates, 24-hour security guards, kids in uniforms at private schools that cost $1,000 to $3,000 per year. This is the Uganda that exists but nobody wants to show. Young professionals live here, small business owners, teachers, nurses, people earning $500 to $2,000 per month, which makes them solidly middle class in Uganda. Uganda. They are living comfortable, normal lives.
And this is where I'm staying. This is a modern Airbnb.
It's also 6 kilometers away from the city center. It has clean sheets, it's comfortable furniture, fast Wi-Fi that actually works. Important because many Ugandans work remotely for international companies. Hot water that doesn't run out mid-shower. A full kitchen with a stove, microwave, refrigerator, a living room with a flat screen TV, Netflix, security guard at the gate 24/7.
For $44, this is the kind of ambience you get.
That's less than a Motel 6 in most American cities, but the quality is genuinely impressive. There are hundreds of these across Kampala now, boutique guest houses, modern apartments listed on Airbnb and bookings.com. The accommodation scene has exploded in the past 5 years as more tourists and business travelers discover Uganda isn't just for gorilla tracking. Shopping malls across Kampala are coming up like Acacia Mall. Movie theaters with reclining seats showing Hollywood films the same week they are released globally. Food courts with KFC, Pizza Hut, and local Ugandan restaurants side by side.
But now, let me show you something that happened here in 1886, something that will help you understand the faith of this country. 32 young Ugandans, some as young as 13 years old, were burned alive in this spot.
European missionaries, both Catholic and Anglican, came to Uganda to spread Christianity. Many young men in the court of Kabaka Mwanga II, the king of Buganda then, converted to Christianity. The king saw this as a threat to his authority. When the Christian converts refused to abandon their faith, Kabaka Mwanga ordered them to be killed. They were tied and burned alive. 22 of them at one location and others were beheaded.
13-year-old Chizito, 25-year-old Charles Nwanga, their leader, they could have saved themselves by lying they weren't Christian. They chose death instead.
They were called the Ugandan Martyrs. Now, this is Namugongo Martyrs Shrine, built in the exact location where Charles Nwanga and his companions were burned to death. This basilica is designed to look like a traditional African hut with a thatched roof. Those 22 copper pillars each represents a martyr who was burned at this specific site. The architecture honors the Christian faith they died for and the African culture they came from. Every single year on June 3rd, the anniversary of their execution, hundreds of thousands of pilgrims walk to this place. Some walk for days from Kampala suburbs, some walk for weeks from Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, South Sudan, Congo, Burundi. Catholics and Anglicans both honor these martyrs because 23 were Catholic and 9 were Anglican. And the Christian history goes deep. This is the Mirembe Hill, home of St. Paul's Cathedral, the oldest Anglican church in Uganda, built in the late 19th century. Oh, by the way, Kampala itself is built across 7 main hills, each with its own story. For example, Mengo Hill is Kabaka's palace and Buganda Kingdom's court of justice. Then we have Makerere Hill. This is where we find one of Africa's oldest university. Then Kololo Hill, that is the high-end hotels, embassies, and state house are all on this hill. Basically, look at this as the government. Then Nakasero Hill, this is Central Business District, historically where the colonial settlers lived. Now, this is Rubaga Cathedral, Catholic, built in 1925.
Now, let me show you Uganda's soul, the food. Remember this Rolex?
This is Uganda's most famous street food and it got the name based on raw eggs, hence the name Rolex. It's basically a Ugandan breakfast burrito, but better. It's a chapati, call it a flat bread, similar to a tortilla rolled with crumbled eggs.
Vegetables are chopped right in front of you. Everything is mixed on the griddle. Chapati is rolled all around it.
And the whole thing costs about 2,000 to 3,000 Ugandan shillings, which is less than $1.
The best street food in Africa according to CNN.
And they are absolutely right. This is incredibly good. The eggs are fluffy, the vegetables are crunchy, the chapati is warm and soft. For less than $1, you get a full meal.
Now look at this. This is called matoke. These are green cooking bananas steamed and mashed.
This is what most Ugandans eat for lunch. This is Uganda's staple food, like rice in Asia or pasta in Italy. Most Ugandans eat this almost every day. Then this is posho. This entire plate costs 6,000 shillings. That's about $1.50. It is delicious, it is nutritious, and this is what keeps millions of Ugandans going every single day. Kampala also has an upscale dining for those who can afford it. There is Cafe Java's. It has multiple locations across the city, serving everything from full English breakfast to traditional Ugandan dishes, to burgers, to pasta. Cafe Java's is Uganda's version of Starbucks meets Denny's. It has reliable Wi-Fi, air conditioning, clean bathrooms. A meal of course costs around $8 to $15. There are also restaurants like Kana Kazana, which actually serves authentic Indian food. A meal costs about $20 to $30.
But Uganda also has this: 5-star hotels, water gardens, golf courses, where Queen Elizabeth II stayed during the 2007 Commonwealth Summit.
The Lake Victoria Serena Hotel, part of an international 5-star chain. Oh, by the way, these aren't good for Africa hotels. These are world-class hotels that happen to be in Uganda. The service rivals the Rees, and honestly, they cost a fraction of what you would pay for the equivalent quality in Europe or America, often 40 to 50% cheaper.
Look, I'm not going to lie to you. Kampala is hard. Roads flood when it rains. Power cuts daily. Traffic is insane. Poverty is real and visible. Infrastructure struggles to keep up because the city's population tripled in 20 years from 1 million to 3 million people. Of course, corruption exists. Garbage collection doesn't reach everywhere. It is messy. It's frustrating even for us who live here. But here is also what exists: street entrepreneurs creating businesses with zero capital. Middle-class families in suburbs, they build themselves. Young people with dreams bigger than their circumstances. I don't want you to pity Uganda. I want you to love it, not for being perfect, because it's not, but for being real, for everything messy and complicated and human about it. Uganda is called the Pearl of Africa, not because it's perfect, but because there is something precious here if you look closely enough. Kampala is its beating heart. Come and see for yourself.